friends, Shanana here, and today I would like to talk about Kairi, and basically, as the title says, why loving her is an Olympic sport, because the devs do not make it easy at all. Not necessarily easy to love her, but kind of because they set up promises they don't keep, or how, like, they make it seem, for instance, in Kingdom Hearts 2, how she's finally gonna be an action girl, but then she disappears from the series for years, and we don't start getting this until Kingdom Hearts 3, and even then, it's disappointment. And I was just really just disappointment after disappointment with how they treat her. And so, getting into it, we'll start with Kingdom Hearts 1, the beginning. A very good place to start. I loved Kairi from the moment I met her. She slaps Sora upside the head, calls him a lazy bum, and I just loved how sassy this girl was. Just because, for me at the time, I guess I didn't see a lot of media that let girls, be so assertive without calling them out for it. It was a breath of fresh air for me. And I also loved how she wanted to go see other worlds with Sora and Riku. I didn't see a lot of media about where the girls would be included in the things that the guys wanted to do. And even though she does take a damsel in distress position pretty early on, her position isn't, she has some agency in it. The Ultimania says that she chooses for her heart to go to Sora. And Riku, for most of the game, doesn't get controlled by Handsome until very late. So her body is being watched over by her friend. And then later on we see her do heroic things like bringing Sora back and wanting to not leave Hollow Bastion without him and Riku, and wanting to go with Sora to save Riku, but Sora shooting her down, so her doing the only thing she can and giving him a lucky charm so he'll be safe on his journey to save Riku. It's a good start for Kairi, in my opinion, especially with her tale of fearing change, but having to deal with exactly that in the game and realizing that maybe it's not as bad as she thought, and that's just a part of life. And I looked eagerly for her to be reunited with Sora and what might come next for her for years. And that next game was Chain of Memories. She doesn't appear in Chain of Memories, of course, but she still has a huge presence in it. And even though she doesn't appear, this doesn't really hurt her yet, because this is the first game without her, and because her presence is so there, and we eagerly awaited, or I know I did at least, I did not like Inhamine and how she was replacing Kairi, to see when we would meet Kairi again and what the future had in store for her. And that future was Kingdom Hearts 2. And Kingdom Hearts 2, at least for me, for the most part, is my favorite Kairi. She does still have her sassiness in this game that I know people try to argue, and I do get where they're coming from, because she's more somber in this game, but I think it makes sense that she is, and it works. But for me, I prefer Kairi in this game because she's actually conscious for it. I love how, first of all, her letter to Sora about how she, wants to start a new journey, and how she escapes from Axel the moment she can, and just her being willing to fight Saïx, and her fighting with her Keyblade for the first time, and so much more are all standout moments for her, to me. And I love all of her text bubble moments, too, about how she wishes she could fight like Sora and Riku, how they shouldn't be the only ones getting hurt, and how she is done waiting. This really felt like this was the start of Kairi, like a journey for Kairi, becoming more active, and like her becoming an action girl. And it really should have been, like, her training journey should have started right after this. But of course it didn't. And let's talk about what happened with Kairi coming right after this. Birth by Sleep is, for me, where we start really running into some problems. It's not egregious yet, but this is where arguably we really start seeing Kairi kind of starting to be treated badly. It's mainly in how Sora and Riku both get these cool moments with Vin and Terra respectively, whereas Kairi gets, her moment with Aqua is nice, but really Aqua does the inheritance ceremony with her by accident. Also, I wish that we saw how Sora and Riku met Kairi in this game. I know that it takes place 10 years before KH1 rather than 9, and they met Kairi 9 years before KH1. I think this was done because Nomura didn't want to get into redesigning the Final Fantasy characters that he would have had to do if it was 9 years before, because he would have had to get into the fall of Radiant Garden and all of that. So he's like, I'll just do it 10 years before. But I still feel like there could have been a scene in the credits or something that said 1 year later, where we could have seen Sora and Riku meeting Kairi. Though there still is a lot of good with Birth by Sleep, because yay, Kairi is once again in the main game, and for the most part her screen time is close to the amount that Sora and Riku has, but the issues that I said before just kind of bother me. Coded is the real offender here, because why is there no data, Kairi? The logic behind it makes no sense. If there has to be a data Roxas with a data Sora, because Roxas is a part of who Sora is, by that logic, there should have been a data Kairi if there was a data Naminé. Or a data Kairi on Destiny Islands. I know originally Kairi was on the box art for the original Coded, so it seems like they had plans for her, and something went awry with putting her in. It's just very upsetting, and starts this awful trend, really, of how she's handled. Raindrop distance. Why, oh why, is Kairi not there for Sora and Riku's Mark of Mastery? For moral support, if nothing else. She wouldn't have been in danger at the tower. Is Kairi suddenly okay with being left behind again after Kingdom Hearts 2? Mickey's letter was partly addressed to her too, about how, like, the keys to the future, he knew, like, rested within the hearts of Sora and Riku and Kairi, and, like, how, like, he knew saving Naminé, which was partly what that letter was about, and all the people who needed to be saved, was probably gonna have to be, through Kairi, of course. So why are we leaving her behind? Also, Kairi so could have started her training in Dream Drop Distance with Sora and Riku being reset. The only reason I can think they waited is for the stinger secret ending with her, where it's like, oh, she's going to be trained as a Keyblade wielder now. And all of us who've been waiting to see her again for years at that point were excited about it, thinking it was going to mean something big for her, because secret endings always did at that point. And even one of the Ultimanias were like saying that Kairi is like the final key, and like hinting that this was going to be something big in Kingdom Hearts 3, and then it wasn't. Also, there's a chance that Kairi might have originally been meant to be in Dream Drop Distance more, because before the game came out, people found Dream Drop Distance, Sora and Riku, and Kairi in Birth by Sleep Final Mix's code. There was also a scene that was of the first trailer that was never released to public of Kairi that wasn't in the final game, but you can still find that scene, I think, in Dream Drop Distance if you hack the game, so all of that's interesting. Kingdom Hearts 3. We all had so much hope for Kairi here, like when we saw the renders of her fighting and whatnot, and knew that she was going to finally be training. And I do think that this game did some good for her, and that it's not as bad as people think it is. I know someone on KH Insider was saying that how they think that, the Keyblade graveyard stuff up to a certain point actually was Nomura trying to give us what we wanted with Kairi and trying to do more with her, but yet, for some reason, almost like he tripped over the finish line and couldn't resist doing the damsel in distress stuff with her that he loves so much. And I kind of agree with that. I like in Kingdom Hearts 3 how Kairi, for the first time, knows what's going on, knows the stakes, and chooses to fight in the Keyblade War. And I like that she is in the final battle area for once, actually doing stuff, not getting knocked out of it, and actually fighting more than we've seen her before. People who say that she fought more in Kingdom Hearts 2 are exaggerating, even before the Remind editions. But there's no denying that Kingdom Hearts 3 did our girl dirty with the kidnapping again and the fridging, and it makes absolutely no sense how the narrative is trying to say that she was training in an area that time moves slower, and somehow her training there is not going to be as good as now when she's training in normal time with Aqua. Yes, I know Merlin wasn't a Keyblade wielder, it was at the bistro, weirdly, of Law in KH3, but it still doesn't really make sense. Thankfully, Remind came along and did do a lot for Kairi, because Nomura finally heard our cries. Though this also was not perfect. There are some people who hate Remind entirely, thinking it really did nothing for Kairi. I think these people expected it to do a lot more. I knew from the trailers that basically you were just going to fight one battle as Kairi and that would be it. So I didn't get my hopes up too much for it, and I'm glad I didn't, because for the most part I'm pleased with Remind. I like the Kairi, or the spirit of Kairi or whatever, helps to lead Sora to find her heart. I like the new scene with Leon. I do like the scene with her and Sora and Kirthi, and even the camera framing in there, and how she's in the shot, I think, starts hinting at Melody and Memory and how it's going to start treating her more like a character than the series ever has before. And of course, I like her getting to finally place her and getting to kill the bastard who murdered her. And I even love the dates between her and Sora at the end. I mean, that's nice in and of itself, but that Kairi finally gets to see more of the world, like she always wanted to do, and for once their worlds that aren't traumatizing her. So yeah, Remind was a good thing, and it was something we much needed after KH3 kind of dashed all of our hopes when it came to Kairi until we saw that trailer. Then Melody of Memory was advertised, and we were like, Kairi game, okay, maybe they really are listening and are going to even more so trying to fix the sins of Kingdom Hearts 3. Melody of Memory is good in a lot of ways. If you would like, where I really get into all of this, all of the good that I do think it did, but also some of its flaws that it's not without. And I do love how in Melody of Memory, like I was kind of getting into before, the camera is centered on Kairi, really, treating her as the focus and almost like an actual character for the first time ever. Kairi actually has dialogue, like more than she ever has before, and good dialogue in Melody of Memory. And we have our sassy Kairi back, and how, she's doing what she wants. She's taking action and trying to find Sora, and people are actually listening to her opinion on things. For once, Kairi is not being treated like a plot device, and that's all of this is wonderful to see. Even her fight with the Xehanort, yes, she loses, but it makes sense because he represents her trauma of him, and even here we're seeing how her fighting has improved. It improves every time we see her, and she's learned to not get captured by someone holding her Keyblade, to dismiss it and get freed that way. And no single Keyblade in the series has ever defeated Master Xehanort by themselves. But the things that are really disappointing about this game is that, yes, I know this originally was supposed to be narrated by Chirithy, so that probably explains a lot, but this is not a Kairi game. I don't know if they were ever trying to bill it as one. In some ways it seems like it, but I'm going to be really disappointed if this is the only Kairi game we ever get. I hope it's not, because we don't even really play as her until the final bit in this game, where we have 2 songs as her that you can't even lose at. And they're like some of the most simple songs in the game. And then you don't even get to fight Master Xehanort as her. She turns into Sora. And it's just so insulting. Like so many things with Kairi. And also that she's not even in the credits. Oh boy. And I know people are gonna try to explain that away. They have in the past, like, oh, it's because in this game you're playing as Kairi dreaming she's the other character, so technically you are Kairi even though she looks like Sora or whatever, and in the credits she's gone to sleep again, dreaming she's the character, so that's why you don't see Kairi. I don't give a fuck. That's a lame excuse, and it is an excuse. And the fact that she has to stay behind again is just so frustrating. Sora and Riku got to hit the ground running. Why can't she? Especially when her whole problem is she lacks real combat experience. And it just seems like they're doing this as a way to keep her out of the plot again. People, and I'd hoped they were wrong, but of course they were proven wrong, right? Thought that in Kingdom Hearts 3, the whole reason she was being trained was so that she would be kept out of most of the game, and of course that was the case. I do still have hope for Kairi, God help me. Because they seem to be setting up this whole Sora and Kairi romance thing. Like, maybe Sora and Riku friendship was more the focus of the first saga, and Sora and Kairi romance, at least in some places, will be at least a bigger focus in this new saga, so at least that way Kairi has to have more screen time, so hopefully she'll be doing stuff in it, and at least Nomura knows now that we're not okay with how he's been treating Kairi, and he seems, at least in some ways, to be trying to course correct, and there seems to be some promises in the narrative that Kairi's finally gonna do stuff. I mean, it's been there before, but now it really seems to be there, and we know how seriously Kingdom Hearts treats its promises. There's a thing Kairi fans say. It's basically hope for everything when it comes to Kairi, but expect nothing. And that's where I'm at. That's where I've been at for a long time. So, yeah. Kairi, my girl, I love you. I will always love you. I've been rooting for you since the beginning. How I hope you get everything you deserve. But these devs do not have a good record with you, honey. So, I'm still not expecting a lot anymore. At least not after everything Kingdom Hearts 3 did. I hope I'm wrong, though. I hope you get the world, but we shall see.